All right. My name is Jeff Rataski. I am a transplant from New Jersey. My alternate name is Rodney Inya, which is I got a show, hopefully recording now. Hopefully it'll come out pretty soon. Oh. It's called the Rodney Inya Show. And how I explain it is I said it's like SNL, but it's just less funny. So,
that's pretty funny in itself.
I love that whole process.
Sure.
From the SNL to the... So what we want to do is we want to incorporate everything you can know. Everything that is part of the shows nowadays. We got cooking.
Oh.
So we're going to incorporate some of Daryl's house. You know Daryl's
house?
I do.
Yes, I do.
Brought a chef in there.
Yeah.
And the main thing is that I want to expose people who normally would not be exposed.
Sure. And that covers anything from chefs to
anything. I don't care if you're a woodworker.
Right. Yeah, I agree. That's a great premise.
So we got we got a whole bunch of things. We wear wigs and we're creating. My wife and I help. My wife helps me. We create characters.
So this will be a video production.
This will be yes, and it's just it's taken me so long to learn all the equipment.
Oh, I'm sure.
Every half the time I forget to press record.
I understand.
I get all done with the skit, and we're all done. And my wife goes, "Did you put the chip in that car?" And I was like, "No, oh my God, I didn't." And it was like one of the only cameras that allows you to shoot with no chip.
Oh yeah. So
I learned my lesson every day.
Yeah.
It keeps me when I think I got it.
Sure.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I look and I was like, oh my God, I ruined that.
Well, that is a the beautiful thing about something like that is this is forever learning. I mean, it's continued education. Mm-hmm. You learn as you go. You make your mistakes, and mistakes are the biggest part of learning, really. Mm-hmm.
In the 90s, I started studying photography, and it helped me so much with the video and the lighting.
Sure.
And, just learning just little things to look for.
Sure.
So that helped me. But when it comes to all the different products, they all work different.
They do.
And I'm pressing the wrong buttons, and then but like everybody says, it's frustrating when you're new to it.
Sure.
But you gotta love the journey.
Sure, you do.
The end result isn't, in my mind, is never as good as what I imagined it to be.
Oh well, that's the case here.
And then as soon as it gets to the end, I critique the hell out of it, and then and blow it up.
Well, we'll use photography. I spent a pretty long time in the photography field back in the black and white film days. And
that's when people knew what they were doing.
You talk about a learning process. You can make a pretty good picture. It's all in how you developed it back in those days. I mean, you didn't have filters like you do now.
I've never shot film.
And you have to learn to see things in not just black and white, but in shades of gray, mm-hmm. which was a real learning process. I'd go in to the dark room and I'd do it the standard way. And I think, well, that's not really the look I want. So I'd overexpose it a little bit or underexpose it. But it was a lot of work.
It's a lot.
So, the age of digital cameras is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, the technology is good and bad. Because when almost anybody can just grab something and press a button and get a decent result. It decreases the value of everybody else.
Well, it does decrease the value of everyone else. I do know a rather famous photographer, Daniel Costin. He makes he's made all the rock and roll pictures in North Carolina for several decades. And he's made the transition. And, of course, he says, the ease of it is better. But he said, now people can go out and, by accident get some pretty good shots, mm-hmm. not even know what they're doing and get some pretty good shots.
Tweaks, and
so it does kind of filter it down for everyone. Photography is still, though, a great art.
I'll walk around the farms, and I'll take a drive, and I just like to look at things from different angles.
Sure.
One of the photographers I studied with, he said, always just try to look at it from a different perspective.
Sure.
Don't always look at it the way we normally, as human beings, look at our angles. Say I'm 6'1". I'm up above, so I'm always looking at that certain angle.
Yeah.
So he dropped me down all the time.
Right.
And got me
in a
certain
different
angles,
place.
looking up, looking down.
Sure.
And I was never one to shoot through the screen.
Right.
I always had to use the eyepiece.
Right.
I thought that was sacrilegious.
Yeah, kind of is.
But when you are, as you get older and your bones start creaking and snapping and you can't get up, the screen works amazing.
It does work. Yeah, I agree.
So I
adapted
to the screen now.
Sure.
Not all the time.
Right.
Yesterday I was shooting all through the reticle.
Right.
Not anything with the screen. There's a lot of times you can't see the
I see.
screen.
If it's bright like it's been here late.
Yeah, I don't use the hood, so I can't see.
Right. So on a day like today, you stand a better chance to move to the screen.
Yeah. Yes,
I have a harder time with the screen getting my compositions like I want them, as opposed to looking through just a regular eyepiece. So
yeah, it feels better.
It does feel better. It feels more natural or something.
I've always done it that way, and when I went to courses and there was a bunch of photographers and they all shot with the screen,
right.
I used to make fun of them.
Yeah.
I used to say, you're half-assing, and just bust the chops.
Yeah.
And then here I am out there using the screen, and like, well, what are you doing over there? You using the screen? And I'm like, yes, I am. I learned. I couldn't get up on the last one because I got in an awkward position.
There you go.
And I cramped up.
There you go. So yeah, it's well, I think learning to adapt to the art is a good thing too.
I was watching I love to watch cooking shows. I became addicted when Emeril Lagasse came out.
Yeah.
And my whole family loves to cook, and it's a whole nother art.
Oh, it is an art.
And I was watching a show, and he's a director, a movie director, and he tells his cast, go take dancing lessons, go take art lessons, and I get a lot of people who say, you want to do so many things. I said, but it's not. It's all based around their creative mind. I don't care what it is.
Right.
If you're cooking and you take a picture of it, or if you're cooking with your, because you cook with your eyes.
True.
If it looks really crappy,
it probably really is crappy.
Probably might be. I'm not going to say it always is.
No.
But it tastes better because your eyes. Sure. I don't know. It's just so I got into photography. I was obsessed with cooking, and so that's why when I started looking for a purpose, I didn't have a purpose for the longest time. Even though I had a career that I've been doing since I was 19.
Sure.
It just didn't feel like and I was a musician.
Right.
And I know a lot of creative people say they don't feel like they fit in, but I tried to do everything. I was a sports guy, musician. I wanted to fit in with everybody.
Right.
And it's not always how it works.
It's just broad interest is what it is.
So many things were interesting to me, which can be not as good if you can't manage it. Because I get so many ideas at one time that I can't process them.
I do relate to that quite a bit.
And I do, I'll do 10 things in one day, and I'm like, well, I got nothing done because I jumped from one
to another.
Seems to be getting worse as I get older.
Yeah, it will. Trust me.
Okay.
It's not going to get better. It'll get worse. You won't be able to focus any better than you.
So that made a ton of sense because listening to that, who's a successful producer, and he was talking to Jon Favreau, the director, also in the movie actor. And while they're studying for the movies, he just suggests that they do all these different creative things because you never know I don't know, it just kind of loosens you up in a certain way, and you find other things that you either like or don't like.
Yeah,
I mean, even if you hate it, that's a good thing, because you
know not to invest your time.
You got
there.
a response.
Sure.
You know, whether you like it or you hate it, when you listen to a song,
yeah,
if it invoked some sort of feeling, it did what it needed to do, whether you liked it or not.
True, this is true.
That's how I feel about it.
Well, that's called living life. Though.
Yeah.
Some people just exist. Most people just exist as opposed to living their life.
For the longest time, I did that.
I have worked for a number of years now to live today.
I'm learning that now.
It's what we have, and it makes today great. Even on crappy days, it's still pretty good.
Yeah, there was a lot of. I know this is a totally different topic, but I found my purpose. I think. I struggled with alcohol. I struggled with pills.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any. It was just flat out miserable.
Sure.
I didn't have any opinion, and if it was an opinion, it was a crappy one.
Right.
Because I hated myself.
Sure.
And I didn't even know why.
Yeah.
There's no reason why. I mean, nobody else, not a lot of people else knew that.
Right.
Because, I had a job. I dressed the way I dressed, but it was always, I did everything for, to create that facade so nobody would know how bad I was hurting.
Yeah, I do understand that. I do.
And not understanding why. And it's crazy because my drum teacher, his name is Dave Elich, and he's done a lot of tracks for Justin Timberlake, and he came off tour last when I met him a couple years ago. He was just filling in for the drummer for Weezer.
That's good. That's cool.
And I watched certain videos of the way he played and how he played, and how the posture was important, and how before you get on the kit is probably more important than when you're on it. Because I started struggling live, where I just started to get nervous.
Yeah.
And I would, just not play anywhere near what I thought I could.
That also will drive you to the part. Being nervous about playing does lend itself to problems.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to. So many people, musicians, I know. It's I don't feel comfortable. I don't really. I want to be on stage. I love being on stage, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. So
I've never had that.
It's easy to go drink. Plus, you have that time between, which people who aren't musicians don't understand. But there's a lot of downtime, a lot of wait time. You go, you get your sound check. You got to wait. Well, that just lends itself to problems. Mm-hmm. I mean, and if you're having some problems, some additional problems, then it just doesn't help. I mean, it's a hard lifestyle.
I didn't pick up much on the drinking and the prescription because I started having really bad anxiety.
Yeah.
So then I started on the medication with the alcohol.
Right.
And then I did that probably from 30 to 40 for 10 years straight, every night. Not when I worked.
Right.
But at night,
sure,
when I
at time
home,
when you came home, yeah.
And it became literally just a habit. And a girl I was dating at the time says, "I think you need some help."
Yeah.
And it was only a few people who knew how bad it really was.
Right.
And I said, "Okay." And a gentleman from the 12-step program called me, and I went to a meeting. And I struggled for the first few years.
Yeah.
I'd be sober for 2 years, and then I would, relapse for a couple days.
Right.
But by that time, I couldn't drink for more than 3 days, or I was in the hospital.
Right. Yeah.
So it kind of solved it.
Yes.
Not solved its own problem, but it was either die,
Yeah.
or get some help. And at that moment, I didn't think I wanted to. Before that, I did.
Right.
I just didn't want to deal with it.
Right.
When things go that wrong, not wrong, but that sour.
Right.
You become bitter about everything.
Yeah.
And that's where I was. But.
Well, obviously, you went and got help, and that's the key thing. It doesn't really work if you don't want to do it.
Just celebrated 9 years with no alcohol.
That's
so,
great.
Alcohol wasn't the only issue. It was,
Right.
dealing with medication,
Sure.
because when some people stop drinking and they stop that process, that anxiety goes away.
Yeah.
Mine didn't.
Yeah.
So it was still there. So we
Right.
had to work on it a long time.
Yeah.
And then, when that came to a head, I had to get help again.
Yeah. Sure.
For a whole different reason.
Yeah.
And, I was mentally not ready for all the things in life. I had just turned, at that moment I turned 40. And then right before my 50th birthday, it just all went sour again.
Yeah.
And that kind of happens if you don't keep up on it.
Yeah. If you don't stay the
You can't
course.
bank your time.
No, you can't. No, you got to
can't
stay
say
the
that I've been
course.
sober for 5 years or 9 years or 20 years and expect that it's gonna
Go away.
go away.
Yeah.
It somehow will come back, just like they say in the meetings. It somehow will come back and bite you.
Yeah.
And thank God the alcohol bug didn't
That's
bite
good.
me. So I'm okay with alternative treatment for people.
Sure.
Whatever helps.
I
You just
agree
have to
totally.
be careful.
You do.
Because if you're going to put another drug, or if you're going to put I cannot drink alcohol.
Right.
It's just not possible.
Yeah. That's a good
I
thing.
can, but
Yeah.
I'm done.
Right.
It's going to end me.
Sure.
So when you realize that, it's kind of a good thing. When you realize you've met the end, but when time goes by, you forget.
True.
There's this couple sayings, about how our minds just forget that kind of pain. I don't know how.
I don't know either, but I can see. I know it does.
Because the second you break that process that you've been doing for a while, your brain instantly knows that it's wrong.
Yeah.
So, like they say, the 12-step program will ruin your drinking. So it's perfect.
That's great.
Yeah, because you overthink everything. But,
How did you get to Shelby, Cleveland County?
I have no idea. My wife and I have always wanted a farm. And everything was changing in a good way, in a bad way. There's always a balance. It's not always good. It's not always bad.
Yeah.
And we talked one night, and I saw some interest about moving, and I was just kind of joking. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll have my friend here next week, and we'll write up the house sale, and then I'll go fly somewhere in the south. And long story short, I played ball in college with a couple gentlemen who moved here. Not at this area. I mean, this area, but not Shelby.
Right.
Cherville. I learned how to say that.
Oh, yeah.
Cherville.
Yeah.
I think I said that right.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
So, yeah, kind of. A little bit. Getting closer.
Getting closer.
So he called me. He goes, I just moved there like 2 months ago. And I said, all right, well, how's the area? He goes, it's nice. And we wanted a farm. And there's not many left of.
No, there's not.
There's not many left.
Mm-hmm.
So we found. Shelby's one of my favorite car makers. Carroll Shelby.
Sure,
I love.
I
So I
agree.
said, why? It's calling me.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's my big joke. I said, yeah, well.
He made some fine cars.
Made some fine cars.
Yes, he did.
They're like, you didn't know? I said, we got there. I met the realtor who became a friend, Suzanne.
Yeah.
And
wonderful person.
yes, I just felt really comfortable. And we were just chatting, and somehow a friend of hers was selling a farm, and it all worked out.
That's great.
And it just somehow, some things, it was difficult,
I'm sure the transition here is a little different too.
Very different. I was used to everything,
a bit slower.
I mean, yeah, I played the Jersey Shore my whole life.
Sure.
But it's not the Jersey Shore that you see on like MTV.
Right.
That's not where and I'm not bashing that either.
Right.
But everybody thinks that that's the way the Jersey Shore is, and it's sometimes in the summer, there's a good mix of certain places that you used to play, which is we call them bennies, which is people from up north.
Right.
I lived Central Jersey.
Yeah.
So that was always funny. Every year, everybody says the same things, about the bennies coming down. Everything's so crowded, and then the pandemic hit.
Oh yeah.
And everybody
wish they were there.
Sold their house and moved to the shore full time.
Sure.
So that was even a bigger influx, and now I get why a lot of people from the South say you northern people stay up there.
It's it's a slower lifestyle.
But you don't come here to change it.
No.
Why would you want to come you moved to the South for a reason, for peace, right?
There is a lot of peace
There's
here.
good people.
Yeah.
There's everybody talks. You're at the grocery store. I had a conversation about liver mush for 15 minutes at the grocery store, and I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
He just felt like
You also just moved to a city that is famous for liver mush.
I didn't know that either.
There's 2 different liver mush manufacturers.
That's what he was telling me.
Just about the only 2 in the world, and they're both here in Cleveland County.
Now I know what he was talking about.
One, Max and Jenkins.
Yeah.
I have a song about that actually.
He was talking to me about it because I was just sitting there looking.
Yeah.
And I was dressed like this kind of, and he was like, "You're not from here." I'm like, "No." And then once he heard me speak, we started cracking up. And I said, I never had liver mush.
Yeah.
So he went 15, 20 minutes on explaining which one has more garlic in it, and this is. I said, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't remember a thing when I got home.
Right.
And I told my wife, I said, we're going to try it. And a gentleman who grew up in Shelby, for my birthday, got me a thing of liver mush.
Okay.
Still in my fridge. So,
hadn't
had a chance to
hadn't had the
break
guts
it out.
yet.
Hadn't had the guts to break it out yet.
Yeah.
So.
I am not a fan, even though I was, but my family, most people I know are just, they're enamored with it. They know different ways to cook it. Some slice it thick, some slice it thin.
Before I cook it, I'm going to call.
Yeah.
I'm going to call Troy to see.
Find out.
To see how to do that.
Yeah.
It'd be better.
But there's a lot of things. This town is kind of famous for its barbecue. Has one of when they rate barbecue restaurants around the United States.
Is that Bridges?
Yeah. And we have 2 bridges here.
I live 2 miles, I think, from the one in Falston Road, or
That would be right. Yeah.
I live like 2 miles from there, so it's nice and convenient.
Yeah.
The funny thing is I stop by there, and they're only open during the week.
Yeah, that's I will tell you this. You have a booming business when you don't have to be open on Saturday or Sunday, on the weekends. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or go past like 6 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a booming business when you don't have to.
So I got to know them over the past few months of going in and trying different things, and
they're nice people.
Yeah, very nice. So I go in there, and it's a fun trip now, and I love it because it's only right down the road.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
I still have to use the GPS to get anywhere.
Well, it's funny. I played a job a couple of weeks ago in a place called Clover, South Carolina. By the mileage, it was 23 miles. You're looking 30 minutes. But it said it would take me like 50 minutes to get there. And about 30 of it was getting off of 74 between here and getting out of town. Getting out of town is hard. Mm-hmm.
I learned that when I came here for the first time.
Yeah.
I was like, 74 is a mess.
It's a mess.
So
Yeah.
I tried to stay away, but I go alternate ways. I'm
and
learning.
you can from where you're at.
I'm learning the back ways.
It's the best way.
Yeah. So it's good.
So you hadn't got to play any music since you've been here.
I drum every day, I record every day. I got my studio kind of set up. It's kind of a makeshift right now because we're going to be eventually, hopefully eventually, when we have a little house next that needs to be refurbished.
Right.
So we want to move the studio
into
there.
Sure.
But so we had to make it temporary because I don't know how long that's going to take.
Right. You never know how with those things forever.
It's lower on the priority list from what we need to do. And
sure.
So that's always fun to look forward to that. But yeah, so we got.
Are you open to jobs? Are you open to play?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I fit in as I'm a rock drummer. I don't know anything about the local music.
Right.
I'm starting to learn.
Right. Drummers, though, one of the things I've learned about drummers is although the styles are different, it all comes down to tempo and beat. It applies universally. Maybe rock dwells on some heavier tones than others, but it's all counting time.
Yeah, my first obsession was Peter Criss first from Kiss.
Sure, Kiss. Yeah.
But then I just got wrapped up in Stuart Copeland. I don't think
It's jazz, man.
I don't think I watched. So, you pick up a couple nuances of what he does, and
sure.
And I always joked about him and Sting used to fight about when he used to speed up, because Sting is like a human metronome.
I think he is. Yeah.
When you go from having a Stuart Copeland as your drummer, and then you literally have the best timekeepers in the industry.
Yeah.
Vinnie Colaiuta.
Sure.
And then I was surprised, though, at the last drummer for Sting was Josh Freese, who took the Foo Fighter job.
Yep.
I said, that looks like... Because A Perfect Circle was one of my favorite bands,
right.
In about 15, was it 13, 15, 8, 7 years ago? And one of my favorite albums is Filter, who used to play with Nine Inch Nails.
Right.
But they hired Josh Freese to play on, I think, a few of the albums that are my favorite, and I didn't even know that. I just really heard the drum sound. I heard the whole, album was good.
Yeah.
And I listened to it, and I'm like, wow, that drummer's amazing. And long story short, it's Josh.
Sure.
He's played on almost, I think, 500 records.
Yeah, I've never understood not using. If you have an opportunity to use an excellent musician, and you're a pretty decent musician yourself, why not get a better one? And it works at every level. So, and Stewart, they had that hybrid ska, reggae, even jazz influenced stuff. Police were just, they were totally different.
Because he was Stuart Copeland came from South Africa.
Yeah, so
so it was almost like a
world beat.
Is that more like a reggae?
Yeah, kind of
like on the.
Yeah, reggae, ska. Yeah, it's kind of. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And it was funny when he was talking about, can't you just play a backbeat?
Probably not.
He said in his interview he was such a spoiled, snotty brat. He said no.
Yeah, the thing is, he probably can't.
He said no
because he's his style is probably not lend himself to that. So it's music's a beautiful thing that way. Is there's so many ways to do it.
Yeah, I didn't get to see them until the reunion.
Oh, really?
I didn't see them in the early days when I was obsessed.
There's a guy who came and did the show. He lives here in North Carolina now. He's from North Carolina. He lived in Nashville. He signed Sting when Sting left the Police to his first contract.
Some of my favorite albums.
It's
Dream of Blue
stuff.
Turtles?
Yeah.
I'm starting there anyway.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I mean, I can't argue that point at all. I can't argue much of Sting's work. I mean, it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I like to. I'm pretty much all over the place when it comes to music, and when I took my brief facility when I went away to the facility to get help, there was a lot of young kids who were listening to YouTube hip hop,
right?
24 hours.
Yeah.
Of course, I was the old bitter man in the corner just watching, and they would just hog the TV.
Sure.
Put YouTube on.
Yeah.
And then after a while, I started kind of popping my feet, and I started learning the songs.
Yeah.
And I said, if you don't want to fight, you got to join them.
I agree.
So now I got it influenced on a whole nother genres of music, and I think it's.
You'll get here and probably pick up a whole different.
It opened.
But that's the beautiful thing about music. It's a universal language, really.
I have a hard time when I think people are just shorting themselves if they have a narrow perspective of music. They
do. They
just
really
too
do.
much. Just too many amazing musicians out there that need to be heard.
There are, and that's one of the things that kind of part of this podcast is there's so many different musicians that you've never heard of, and they're good. And in this area, there are tons of good musicians in any genre you can think, from Latino music to gospel, blues. I mean, it's just loaded around here with musicians that are just world class.
I was thinking of doing a little bit of a live concert for my living room.
That would be cool.
I don't know if I would do it live casting.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me nervous.
Yeah, you can't never tell what's going to happen when you do that.
I don't know. I might want to avoid that for stress levels. But, and when you get to sit down just like we are now,
yeah,
talk about their new album, their songs.
Yeah.
So that's part of the.
That's cool.
Part of the ideas that were. I mean, there's nothing different.
Right.
I just I watch everything. Yeah. I watch all those shows, and I write down what intrigues me, and then we'll just put all that together and try to pull it off.
That's pretty cool.
It's just been a long. It's trying to get the website going and all that stuff, but it's coming along slowly.
It takes a long time to put something together.
It's about 2 years right now that we're in the mix of throwing. I have I think 7 or 8 books of episodes and
that
ideas
you want to do
that we want to do, and you just gotta somehow
put it together,
just pull it off.
Yeah, that's cool, and I don't think people really realize the amount of work that goes into something before it ever comes to fruition. You got to put a lot of time in to that before you can ever bring it to
I wasn't expecting that either.
That's something I've had to learn. You have a really good idea, but then to really put it together and make it pop, make it happen.
Yeah, I'm used to working as a team.
Right.
Like I'm a football guy, so it was a team effort.
Right.
And my wife works a lot, so it's like I do this a lot by myself.
Yeah.
Because when I was in New Jersey, I asked a ton of people to help me, but everybody just ran the other way because they think I'm a little kooky.
You're in the right place.
Because
here.
I know because
you can find those people here.
Ideas that are coming out, they're like, when do you think of this?
Yeah.
But it's nothing new. It's all, like I said, I had an idea. I thought I have a purpose. That if I can help people out, because a lot of people helped me.
Sure.
And that's what I have a little bit of a 30 seconds or a minute on either TikTok.
Yeah.
And I just tell people, you know what? You can turn it around.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No.
It's not easy because it takes a long time. And like they say in the 12-step, time is time. And I couldn't understand that. I used to get so mad. I wanted to be, I wanted to not be drinking for a long time.
Right.
But unless you physically go through it,
you got to do the time.
You got to do the time.
You got to do the
so
time.
So
that time's going to pass anyway. So you got to figure it out.
It's going to pass anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, I heard that the other day. So, you might as well make it better because the time is going to pass anyway.
It's going to pass anyway.
Yeah, I was listening to some. I think it was a doctor of some sort from Canada, and he says, "You know what? You can be miserable through the whole thing." And that's understandable because it's very easy.
Yeah, you can. It's easy to do.
It's very easy to have
I know some
many
pretty
bad
miserable
days.
people, and they don't even have substance abuse problems. They're just miserable in life, period.
But it's just you got to be self-aware. If you don't have the self-awareness, which is I kind of knew, but I didn't realize the extent until you get some years in.
Yeah.
And I, my wife says it all the time. It's great that you're self-aware now. You got to just tone it down, stop being a little bit rough on yourself.
Yeah.
So that can happen.
Yeah.
But as long as you keep everything, try to keep it right down the middle and not too up and not too down.
I think that's the whole key.
When things are working well for me, things are right down the middle.
Even keel.
If I'm too up, or if I'm too down, it goes down a toilet.
Sure. Yeah, even keel, moderation.
Mm-hmm.
And in moderation, because I can get overconsumed with work and ideas. I can have days when I have stuff in my head that you may as well talk to that wall. I won't hear a thing anyone's saying.
Mm-hmm.
When I try to keep those days, I can feel them coming on. I try my best to keep those days.
I'm getting there.
Tamp them down a little bit.
About halfway through the day, I'm like, man, I got to change. I got to turn things around.
Well, at my age, it mentally exhausts me at some point. Whereas a younger person, it didn't. Now it's like, I'm too tired to think about it anymore. So, that's pretty good. Is that going to be your main focus while you're here? Your show, is that going to be your main focus?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that's just a fun thing that will eventually come to whatever it's going to be.
Right.
Whether it's going to be produced no matter what, just for fun.
Sure.
And I got a lot of questions lately, like, why are you posting so much? And the reason why is, they suggest that you post, but I'm recording a lot now because I can.
Right.
And I'm learning my equipment.
Well, and
the only thing you can do is you got to press the red button, or nothing's going to happen. And I have a little bit of red light phobia. When you hit the record and the red light comes on, you get a little tense.
I do understand that. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's how most. I will say most musicians you play with, you push that red button in a recording studio, and all of a sudden it's like I can't do what I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like they freeze up or something. That's why the studio guys can go in there and one take stuff. And you play something you've played 100 times, you can go in, turn that light on.
Isn't it wild?
And you'll mess it up.
And I learned a lot from when I was talking about Dave, my drum teacher, drum instructor. I was going into getting on drum stool
Right.
already kind of bent, and
Right.
and so we took it back. I mean, for 4 weeks in a row, I did not sit at the drum kit at all.
Oh.
We just chatted,
Right.
and he just talked to me about, like, what do you feel, and he's helped a lot of people with that
That's
panic
good.
before you go on stage. I wasn't getting that when I was going on stage, but it was affecting my playing.
Right.
On certain nights, I just feel uncomfortable the whole night.
Yeah.
And I mean, that happens with a lot of musicians.
It does.
I mean, I'm sure it happens a lot more than we think.
Yeah. People hide it if they can.
Mm-hmm. So what we started talking about was, like, calming down and warming up. I started using the jump rope
Yeah.
to get a little bit warmed up.
Yeah.
And
Good idea. I've never heard of that, but that's cool.
yeah, you warm up with it because the jump rope kind of uses a lot of different.
I jump rope as part of my workout. I jump rope regularly, just about every day. So
And that's one of the main things between stretching and so.
Well, it does. It will calm you down because it'll certainly get your heart rate up.
And then you don't feel like, because I always felt like I went out there and just started playing really hard right off the bat with really not warming up that much.
Yeah, I think drummers
not
do.
stretching.
Yeah.
And then by the 3/4 into the first tune, I'm getting like lactic acid built
Right.
up,
Oh, yeah.
and I feel like I can't play.
Yeah.
I'm stiffening up.
Sure. Yeah.
So that has gotten a lot better.
I think a lot of drummers. I think that is a drummer thing a lot too, because it is basically a pounding. I mean, it's the violent act of music is the drummer. Because drumming is kind of a violent act, really.
And the other subject that was big for Dave was too many drummers are hurting after they play.
Oh, there's tons of them.
He has a whole section that, I mean, you see these guys who tour, professional touring guys.
Right.
I mean, he had a lesson with David Garibaldi, for God's sakes, a couple weeks ago. So that's the kind of level that, they go for him. They go to him for lessons because his technique, and he sees it right away, and he helps a lot of drummers to avoid the pain.
I think Springsteen's drummer has struggled with pain almost forever.
Sometimes you can't.
Of course, he's a very aggressive drummer too, So
And when you start stiffening up after every gig or during the gig, you're not either not warming up correctly.
Sure.
So, am I great at that? No. Am I working on it? Of course. You got to be
work in progress.
You got to work in progress. That's a big saying in my world. Is the work in progress.
Most musicians do not warm up anywhere near enough. It's why I think a lot of guitarists have like carpal tunnel. I know drummers with them too. Yeah.
I had my right done.
About the last two drummers that I work with regularly, they have real hand problems. They're in their 50s, and they've been drumming all their lives, and their hands just are wrecked.
I just turned 55 on the 10th, so getting there.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. Trust me, I'm 70.
At least I can still play.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. I feel fortunate that I get to still go out and play.
Yeah, I drum 7 days a week now.
No, that's good.
Not live, but either recording or my lessons or practicing.
Sure.
That's something I never did. When I played football, that's what you did.
It is.
And that was the only time that I felt that discipline.
Yeah, the focus and the discipline.
The focus and the discipline was when I played ball.
Yeah.
And I think every year after I stopped playing, it just went a little bit downhill, and then it became no organization at all.
You a Jets fan?
I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Dallas Cowboy fan.
Yeah. In the 70s, Roger Staubach.
Yeah.
And it was they were playing the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yep.
And I said, I like that guy.
Yeah.
And that was my idol for my whole till now.
That's a good one. That's a good one to have. Mm-hmm. This area also, besides being a Panthers, there's a lot of Steelers fans here.
I met a Dallas fan and a Steeler fan, father and son, yesterday.
Yeah, we were probably just about. I could see that.
We were laughing.
Yeah.
Because then I said, all right, well, we're 2-1 now.
Yeah.
Get the bust on him.
Well, one of my tattoos guys, a Dallas fan.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I have stars everywhere, and not because it's Dallas stars, but right. I just always liked stars.
Yeah, that's so yeah, Dallas is a lot of people's favorite. I guess it's still America's team. I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, it was for years and years and years.
I have few friends who were Dallas fans in New Jersey, but most everybody is, the newer is our Giants fans.
Yeah,
Giants and Jets.
Yeah, Giants and Jets. I mean, I think a lot of people, Jets fans, I thought you would say, yeah, I'm a Giants fan, but
my wife is. So we love the games on Sunday when Giants play the Dallas.
Yeah, same division.
So it's fun.
Good stuff. Yeah, yeah. I have Carolina Panther season tickets. That's been a miserable thing for a number of years.
Past few years has been pretty bad.
There's been more miserable ones than good ones.
Last year was tough.
Yeah, last year was tough. I don't know.
I do like them though. So I got upset when McCaffrey got traded.
Yeah,
he's still my favorite player in the league.
Yeah,
but when he was with
Carolina,
Panthers,
yeah,
I always thought they had a chance if he was playing.
Me too. And I don't know why you think that these days, because no one ever does, but I thought he would be, a franchise person who would be there a long time.
Why would you? I mean, I don't know if it was him or it was the new owner.
I think it was a new owner, but still,
I mean, he's just...
he's incredible.
I mean, he gets hurt here and there.
Yeah, he does. Because he goes hard.
He goes hard is right.
He gives you 100%. I mean...
That's what I watched him at Stanford.
Mm.
Was just amazed when he hit the middle.
Oh, yeah.
Man, when he hit that center, he hit the middle, he was gone.
He was gone.
So
he's way faster than what people realize, and he's loaded.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
he's got those
big arms.
Yeah,
he does. He's a load to handle.
I was watching his workout the other day.
I seen that workout.
That's
crazy.
Insane.
Oh.
I don't think I could last, even in my youth, I couldn't last a day with that.
I know. He's something else.
He trains with the track stars. He trains with everybody.
Sure.
I mean, wild.
He's a fun guy to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So we got anything more about the show or?
Yeah. Okay.
It's not rolling yet, so it's hard to talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's been about 2 years in the mix. And the reason why it's named Rodney Inya is because I had to have a name that made me laugh.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty funny.
And I woke my wife up at probably about, I think it was after 3 a.m. I don't sleep really well. I wander the house, and sometimes I sleepwalk. And I woke her up at 3 in the morning, and I said, guess what? She's like, what? I'm like, my new name is going to be Rodney Inya for the Rodney Inya Show. And she's like,
What?
She says, what show? And I'm like, exactly.
Yeah.
Creating a show. She's like, okay.
Time for you to go back to bed.
Time for you to go back to bed.
Yeah.
And in the morning, she actually remembered it, and we couldn't stop laughing.
That's funny. It is funny.
And if you can start, like, I try to preach that also. I try to preach a lot of things about laughing. How much of how good it is for you.
It is great.
And that's how I knew that I had to go away, is that I stopped laughing.
Yeah.
And my wife looked at me. She's like, what's going on? I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore.
Right.
And she's like, do what? I'm like, life.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know where to go.
Yeah.
I mean, what to do.
Right.
I was detoxing from the medication, and it was a dark dark place, and I never thought I'd get out of it.
Right.
And I try to be grateful for everything. I have a great life.
Sure.
And it took me a long time to.
Yeah,
it took me a long time to realize.
I mean, I think it does. It's taken me a long time too.
I took everything for granted just because. I don't know. I don't even know why. I didn't grow up that way.
Yeah.
Basic parents, old school Italian mom.
Right.
Big Pollock is my dad.
Yeah.
He's 6'3", blonde, blue eyes. My mom's like 5 foot, dark hair.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, total opposites.
Yeah.
I come from a long line of horn players, trombone.
I love trombone. Oh man.
My father was a trombone player, and my brother was a trombone player, and then they made me. They said you cannot play the drums. The band teacher, you can't play the drums. There's too many drummers. You got to play the
trombone.
And they were like, well, I'm not going to buy an instrument. We got a trombone up in the attic.
Yeah.
So sure as anything, here I am playing a trombone in 5th grade.
Yeah, I think that's good though. I think, I think when you get to play some music in school, it lays a good foundation.
It's not good.
For you, it wasn't.
Terrible. You couldn't get no girls. Trombone players
true,
didn't
they
get
don't.
Girls.
Bass players don't either.
No. So. Oh man. So it's like you can't meet any women playing a trombone for God's sakes.
No, Lord, no.
So I did the year. I paid my respects to the trombone.
Right.
And then that next year I said,
I'm a drummer.
No way. I got a pair of sticks, and I asked my dad, can I get lessons? He goes, if you're serious about it, yeah, because I had the sports thing,
right?
And he's also the same way. We're all sports and music.
Yeah.
Everybody loves my whole family.
Yeah.
We're all sports and music. We all like different stuff,
right?
But somehow it comes together.
Sure.
And I forgot what even point I was trying to make with.
And it's with playing the drums.
Oh yeah, so I was just turned 10, and I grabbed my sticks and I said, I am not playing anything but the drums. I wanted to be Peter Criss.
Yeah.
I saw Kiss.
Yeah.
I saw the I don't know if it was an album or what I saw,
right.
And because they were into. They were into Springsteen.
Yeah, I'm sure they were. Yeah, I mean,
one of my biggest albums when I was young was "Toys in the Attic," Aerosmith.
Yeah, Aerosmith. Yeah,
that was I obsessively Devo.
Right. Oh,
and then it went to
Devo.
Really, I wasn't into Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Those are all the classic drummers who.
Yeah.
I used to make fun of Neil Peart to my brother because he used to say that Neil Peart was a better drummer than Peter Criss. And I didn't know who was a good or bad drummer. I just knew what they looked like on
Peter.
stage.
Yeah. Peter was cooler looking at.
It was cool to look at.
Yeah.
And it's funny. He in Jersey, he lived only a couple miles from where I worked.
Really?
Yeah. So I saw him a couple times in the shopping center, and I panicked.
Oh yeah,
I couldn't say hi to him. I just stared at him. I just went. I just waved to him.
I do know how that.
I met his wife a couple times. She's real nice.
That's good. I like it when people are nice.
You know what? Very nice.
Yeah, that's great.
And that's why, as a lot of people notice, I don't know a lot about my idols. I don't study them. Because I don't want to find something out that I don't like.
That's like meeting them.
It's like meeting them. I don't want to say, "Oh, he was mean to me," or you just don't. Everybody has their day.
Sure, they do. You catch them on a bad day.
They get harassed 24 hours a day.
Yeah. They can't go anywhere.
No.
I mean, even now without the makeup, they still can't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's been enough of them on the internet without it now where people know,
Yeah, so it was Peter Criss, and then it was Stewart, and then one day my brother was playing 2112 from Rush.
Yeah.
And I was like, who is that? He was like, that's what I've been trying to tell you. And then I became obsessed after that.
With Rush, yeah.
Because I realized exactly what you said earlier, just all different kinds of drummers.
There are.
And I didn't know. I was only I think I was 10 years old.
Right. And
I just figured everybody played the same, and I didn't know any different music.
Yeah.
I only knew what I listened to.
Yeah.
And, I remember always live music, which is why I always love playing live, is because Don Kirshner's rock.
Yeah.
My dad used to let me stay up and watch it.
Yeah.
And that's where I saw my father was big into Sammy Hagar.
Yeah.
Before he joined Van Halen.
Yeah.
So, and Sammy Hagar was always on the was that me? Oops, sorry. He's
yeah.
Always on the late. Sammy Hagar was always on the Late Show with the what's the name of his band? The Red Rockers?
Yeah, Red
Okay.
Rockers. Yeah.
So I used to watch them, and then
Sammy, I still like Sammy to this day.
Still,
yeah.
He's was he touring with G3?
Yeah, I think he is.
Right, isn't it?
Yep.
And I think Bonham's the drummer.
I think he is.
Jason, his son.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So,
that's cool.
I love that stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
so that's what I kind of grew up on, and then in high school, Rush and Neil was just obsession.
Sure.
I played in the band, and to learn YYZ at 15 years old.
That's pretty.
I mean, I don't know if I'll watch that video and realize how
stuff.
bad it is, or I don't know how bad it is, or we got through it.
Well, that's good.
We used to play Limelight, a couple
some hard stuff
Rush tunes,
yeah.
And we were 3-piece,
yeah,
bass guitar.
You got to be tight when it's 3 pieces.
Mm-hmm. We were all friends from we were young kids.
That's good.
We started. Guy who ran a yacht club asked one of my friends if he had a band, and he said, "It's not ready yet." He goes, "But I know somebody who does," meaning me.
Right.
We didn't have a band. We practiced in my living room once.
That's funny.
So we took the gig. So we had to learn. In 2 weeks, we had to learn, and the bass player picked up the bass then. We went out, got him a bass, and the lead guy showed him, and he says, "Who's singing?" And I said, "I'm singing. I can't even barely, learn half this stuff, let alone remember the words." Right. So he decided to sing, and to this day, still a singer, still does music 100%. Just released another album that a couple songs I played on in the 90s.
Yeah.
Stuff I forgot about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have stuff.
I remember it was like we set the drum kit up in the kitchen, mic'd it up.
That's funny.
And it was you had to turn the air off.
Right.
And it was 1,000,000 degrees.
I'm sure.
But we loved every minute of it. Recorded the whole album, all the drums in one day.
Being young helps everything.
I think I was 22 maybe at the time, maybe 21. If that.
Yeah. What else we need to know?
What do you want to know? What do you think is? You can lead me in the right direction of what you think is my drumming style, or?
Well, yeah. Where is your style these days?
Well, anybody who wants to listen to some of my styles, I do have my TikTok.
Oh, okay.
You'll see a bunch of different things on the TikTok. I do photography. I do drone work. I love taking drone pictures from over the farms.
Yeah.
And we do a 30-second recharge, which is to just sit and breathe a little bit and calm you down. So we do that. We do a plunge, which will make you laugh because my wife and I jump in the pool.
A cold plunge.
And it was a cold plunge, and now it's a warm plunge.
Yeah, now it's a warm plunge.
But now we're going to try to have her friends are coming in from New Jersey this weekend, so we're going to do the celebrity plunge.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
So, and what we're trying to just 20 minutes or 15 minutes or 10 minutes out of your day can really make a difference, which you don't
Where do
really.
they find this stuff? Where do they find it? How do
you
they
can
find
go
it?
to TikTok, which is at the Rodney Inya Show.
Okay.
You can go to Instagram, and that's also under my name, which is Jeff Rataski.
Okay.
And then there's also the Rodney Inya Show on Instagram, which is going to be built up soon.
Okay.
And then Facebook also, and that's Jeff Rataski.
Okay. That's cool, because I know people want to know.
And it's Jeff, and last name is Rataski. So you can find anything. Me wearing wigs, running around the pool, goofing around, imitating videos. I love Sia.
That's cool.
And I love the girl who dances in the videos. So we put a wig on and we run around. We do stupid things.
That's pretty cool.
If we can keep laughing, it always makes for a better day.
I agree.
I know I say that a lot, but
well, I do appreciate you taking the time to come down here and do this.
Anytime.
Thank you.
It was exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was my first podcast also.
There you go. That's cool.
Hoping to bore you guys.
That was fun.